A winding path. The second work. Personal power. Walking Dambala. To induce an altered state of consciousness. Stand with your feet parallel and 1 foot's distance apart. Open your chest and pull your stomach long. Push your chest forward and bend your knees to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, until your ribs move toward your thighs and your back is flat. Now contract your hips forward and uncurl your spine, 1 vertebrae at a time. Your head is the last thing to return to the upright position. Repeat steps 1 through 3 while moving your right foot forward with your right knee bent. Your left knee is bent and your left foot is 12 inches or more behind with your weight on the ball of your foot and the heel raised high. Now repeat with your left foot forward. Exhale as your chest moves forward. Inhale as your hips contract. Perform this body movement in the floor pattern of a sidewinder snake. Do this while chanting the sacred letter O. Pouring money. To be done by an even number of people. Ingredients. A strong desire to attract abundance. The change from your pockets. 2 bowls of water. A green candle. A symbol of wealth, Ace of Pentacles tarot card, or a prosperity bill. Stand or sit in a circle. A chant for wealth. A rose of Jericho. Place your wealth symbol under, before, or beside your green candle. Light it. Put all the change, coins, from your pocket into 1 bowl. Fill the bowl with water. Pour the bowl of money and water into the empty bowl, held by the sister on your right, while reciting the chant for wealth. Continue to pour the money from 1 bowl to the next, moving left to right, chanting until every woman has chanted at least 8 times. The numeral 8 is also the symbol for infinity. Place the rose of Jericho in the bowl of water and watch the dry plant expand with life. Place the bowl on the floor near the front door of the house where the ritual has been done. My altar sister, Bae Young, of the Aquarian Institute of Oakland, performed this ritual in her enchanted garden. Her garden is her symbol of abundance. Interesting things happen with this ritual. First of all, expect bitter arguments over money in the house. If respectfully handled, this argument will expose budgetary excess, wrong expenditures of energy, and dormant opportunities. This process is akin to the way the liver throws off poison to clean the system. Those who have participated in the ritual find jobs for each other, create mutually lucrative ventures, and share the wealth of unexpected good fortune. Important. Your wealth chant must be affirmative. Here is my favorite chant. Out of nowhere, out of air, out of the darkness, to aid me I swear, pile upon pile of silver of gold, come without warning as you have been told. She who whispers. There have been winters before, cold, windful winters of the frostbitten hunger and snow-capped loneliness. But this winter it was deep desolation that cut and mashed the spirit of the woman. Inside was lacking. No amount of heat thawed the chill. No warm broth and conversation satisfied the aching sense of loss, failure, and worthlessness. All because inside was lacking. She looked through herself's mirror image and saw gold that had somehow turned to rust, love gone to stale lovelessness, and knowledge degenerated into meaningless facts, and decided her birth, her very existence, had been an error. A freak occurrence took place when Mother Nature batted her watchful eyelid. Determined not to tolerate such an existence, the woman set her mind on suicide. She removed the clothing from her body and remembered how once she had a love of sewing, but had lost it somehow. En route to bed, she passed her books and hoped maybe in the guise of poetry they would bring some moment of exhilaration to her sister. She said goodbye to her music collection, the universal magic that now failed, for the first time in her life, to bring her any semblance of joy. All these golden gifts bestowed on her had somehow betrayed or been betrayed by her. She laid herself down in that lost, lonely nakedness and implored life to remove itself from her young but weary body. And my God, it happened. An occurrence so bizarre that she thought herself engrossed in a grisly occult novel, such as she had been so fond of reading in that life. A paper-thin image of herself rose, floating out of the carcass, and rested itself somewhere above the stark white ceiling. Her perception changed, and she viewed the world from the eye of the image. The image watched quietly as the body adopted a grayish hue. The eyes grew cloudy and the lips sealed themselves on to one another. The chest no longer heaved up and down with the breath of life, and the heart ceased to pound out the terrifying drum rhythms. Instead, there was a musical silence that no instrument could imitate. From her view on the ceiling, the image saw the figure of a young girl come and touch the body. Trying to arouse it, but receiving no answer, assumed to be in a deep sleep. And tired herself, the young girl muttered, "She's really tired. I'll ask her in the morning." This kindness initiated a struggle within the carcass, a struggle that somehow explained to the love that there would be no tomorrow. To make her understand why, to give what last moment of aid one could give, to scream out loud a plea to forgive this act of doubt, of fear, of unamendable cowardice. But too quickly the girl vanished. Without warning, a voice quite her own, yet more lovely, rose from the breast of the carcass and spoke, saying, "Get back in your body, girl. You have work to do." No sooner had the command been given than a thin blue line appeared. Streaming between body and soul, it flowed painlessly until they were one again, and the chest began to ebb and flow with a fresh spring air. Not needing the use of a mouth, the woman called her own name aloud, asking, "What is my purpose?" The room then seemed to have lost its dimensions, being free of top, bottom, sides, and contents. Yet it was filled with bold white letters traced in black. Words of instruction, each accompanied by a picture of the task to be performed, each task giving birth to a new feeling of power and peace. The woman fancied for a moment that she was lying in a great, gentle stream of warm, crystal blue water, that the sun rising outside her bedroom window slowly filled every pore with gold, that strength and beauty lifted the sealed eyelids and gave them new clarity. There was rest. Then there was rest. That morning, the woman watered her plants to the inner rhythm of botsa drums and gold brown biscuits. Her younger sister came into the kitchen, rubbing her eyes and yawning. "Ain't you bright and chipper this morning? You slept so hard last night, girl. I thought you were dead. Tried to wake you, but I figured you must have been real tired, so I just let you alone." "Really?" the woman answered, feeling somewhat strange. "What did you want?" The young girl wrinkled her brow. "Funny. I can't remember now, but I wanted you to do something." "Oh well, it'll come back." They sat down to breakfast of biscuits, coffee, and laughter. That's all there was that cold, needy winter. I called this experience my nervous breakdown. Prior to it, I was literally out of my mind. For a month, I was quiet as a church mouse all day, and I screamed all night that I was a captive on this planet and didn't want to be here. I was strung out on a doctor-prescribed dope and poison under the influence of people who themselves were frightened and powerless. Like many others, I made the mistake of judging my worth by the paper in my pocket and arrogantly rejected the beauty of the flowers. I wanted to be an asset to my community, to contemplate the meaning of existence and produce beauty. But literally everything in society told me that I was a useless nigger wench. I was someone who was best forgotten and destined to be destroyed. I was caught between my soul's desires and society's dictates. Thank goodness my sister Safi was confident that I would come through it. So she did not call the man in the white coats. Since then, I have worked as a mental patients advocate, and I maintain that many people in our state institutions are really in spiritual crisis. The addition of mind-melting drugs makes their breakdown almost inevitable. Sister, if you are caught between the devil and the deep blues, let go of your present thought patterns. Release your grip on what you've been taught is reality and invoke for a breakthrough. You won't regret it. This experience pushed me to go to a voodoo priestess for my first reading from the oracle. The oracle is a system of divining using 16 cowrie shells. Through it, a priest can read your past, present, and future and name your personal deity. From the moment the priest announced that I was the daughter of Oshun, I began to think of myself in a different, more positive way. Oshun is the goddess of love, art, and sensuality. She is a temperamental coquette with much magic up her sleeve. She was the me I hid from the world. The priest opened many doors for me and showed me that I should yield completely to my spiritual urgings. Among the things he suggested were many that I had been considering. He said my goddess wanted me to read tarot cards for other people. I had already bought and studied tarot, but restricted the readings only to myself. He said I should call myself a spiritualist and teach what I had learned to others. In the past, I restricted my teaching to the spiritual significance of the dance. In short, he said that my goddess was speaking to and through me and that I should listen to my head and do whatever she told me to do. He told me that I had smiling enemies and that I should change my circle of friends. And in fact, my attempts to change myself brought heavy criticism down on me from the people who had come to depend on my remaining the same. I wrote the following poem to crystallize this experience. Friends. Once I was a real nice girl with smiles for all, you hear? Until that still small voice began to whisper in my ear. She said, if you will listen, you will find, in fact, that others too are whispering, babe, but it's behind your back. So then I got real quiet, just to check it out. And listening to my friends brought second thoughts and doubts. Willie says I'm skinny. May says much too fat, but when I serve them dinner, child, I'm really where it's at. Betty wants to cut my hair and then dye it black, while Lily says that modesty is where I really lack. Frank, he calls me egghead because I like to read, and Sally Joe, my shy friend, offers skag, coke, and speed. Prudence G, my white friend, says politically I'm wild. My black friends call me Uncle Tom because I like to smile. Helen says, stop singing, girl, I don't stand your range. Still, small voice says, go on, girl. You know that's got to change. Now I do less crying. It seems I get more done. Whatever my dear friends now say, I take as lightweight fun. When feeling really rotten and things come to bad ends, if you think you have no enemies, better look among your friends. Learn from my mistakes, my friend, you'll come out a better by far. Your true friends will help you change, but accept you as you are. Now I begin almost magically to meet older women who were spiritualists in various traditions. They entrusted me with the shopping for their occult supplies. In exchange, they taught me their charms. I met a root woman from New Orleans who taught me how to make lucky hands for financial gain and to work John the Conqueror route. One day, while sitting at a bus stop in Berkeley, I saw a woman in a bright embroidered tunic and turban and thought I knew her. I waved, but she did not see me. I sat down and forgot about it. Moments later, she came running over to me, crying, hugging me, and calling me Marguerite. Marguerite, I'm so glad I found you. She thought I was her cousin, whom she had last seen running to safety from an earthquake in Guatemala. We became fast friends. She gave me readings, took me on herb hunts, and performed a bath of fire with me. Much to my amazement, the flames caressed my body. But as she had commanded, I was not burned. The teachings of these older women reinforced those of the Fahami Temple. These women called God by various names and invoked spirits unknown to me, but demonstrated that the power of spirit is all there is in the universe. In 1977, I got a CETA job with the Berkeley Neighborhood Arts Program. I wrote and directed The Dear Woman of Owa, a play based on a Yoruba folktale. In time, I was asked to teach a workshop on African goddesses at the Berkeley Women's Center. The women who attended my workshops were enthusiastic, and supportive. We shared our knowledge of various goddesses and marveled at the similarities. At a seance one night, I was told to go home to New Orleans to visit my mother because my ancestors were dissatisfied. This is when I discovered that my paternal grandmother's house, for whom I had been named, where I floated out of my body, sat on the site of the former home of Mademoiselle Marie Laveau, the voodoo queen of New Orleans. She who whispers. Since childhood, I have had a spirit guide who whispers in my ear. I call her simply She Who Whispers. Her voice is gentle, rich, but not different from my own. We have similar personalities, but she is wiser and offers me information. Like I said, her voice is gentle, rich, but different from my own. Periodically, through disbelief, I have lost contact with her, but she has been my steady companion since 1974. I don't know when she first showed up, really. She might have been the wind that blew gently past my ears as I opened the bathroom window of my mother's house. This simple act made me feel unreasonably that I should have been born in the remote past or the distant future. She could have been that girl in my mother's bedroom mirror. She could have been that feeling I get from stalking the lady, the one of perpetual help. Maybe I heard her scream in the library, "He's lying, don't believe it." Was it she who sat on the ceiling that needy winter? I don't know. She could be Mama Ruthie. Maybe she's Big Mama Jones. Perhaps she's my little soul, my anima. For sure, she's one of the priests mentioned when he said, "Listen to your head, Mahida, my daughter." But trust in her is not a matter of blind faith. I don't believe in this stuff myself. Like everybody else around me, she has been tested. To illustrate how I did this, I've created an analogy called walking the bridge. Walking the bridge. I'm walking down the street in Berkeley. I'm depressed because there's only a quarter in my pocket and a hole in my shoe. At the corner there is a beggar, a scraggy white boy with filthy hair and torn pants. "Spare change, sister? You got any spare change?" he cries. She. Give him the quarter. Me. Shit, that's all I got. She. What can you buy with it anyway? Give your brother the quarter. I give him the quarter and say under my breath, may it return to me fivefold. He smiles. It's a nice smile. He's human. She, look over there, baby. I look up. Over there is a big, beautiful tree. She, go talk to that tree. Me, why not? It's a pretty day. The tree is further away than I thought. As I get closer, I see a bridge up ahead. Me, oh, forget it. She, you sure you want to do that? I sigh and keep walking, wondering how the hell I'll get home with not a dime in my pocket. Me, boy, Mama sure would be pissed if she knew I was out here penniless. She giggles a bit. I begin to cross the bridge. I don't trust these things, especially this one. It's creaking and the wood is old. I walk slowly. She, step lively. Me, you know I don't like these things. She, stop here. Me, for what? She, raise your leg. Me, all right now, don't start talking crazy. She, you still got that problem, child? Me, I'm telling you. If you say anything that sounds like jump, you can kiss my... Have I ever lied to you before? No. But you've made me look real strange to other people. You still not worried about them? Not really. I raise my leg and place it over the side of the bridge. I hear my name called. Look. Leaving the shade of the beautiful tree is Sister So-and-so. Her eyes are shining. Her arms are outstretched to greet me. Sister, Tish, girl. Girl, I knew that was you the minute I saw them big feet. How come you don't stay home, child? I've been trying to call you all week. She reaches into her bra. She whispers, very good. Sister, here's the $10 I've been holding on for you. That charm you gave me worked just right. Now, where you going? The library's closed. I made some gumbo last night. You know I couldn't leave this town if I didn't save you some. I tried to call you, but you wasn't home. The car's over there. Let's go eat. Then I need to run by your house. I need to borrow that book. You said you was going to loan me. Listen. I've been meaning to ask you, when your intuition starts working? Because how do you know when to trust it? I shake my head and smile. I prepare to apologize to she who whispers, who is nowhere and has nothing to say.